kill you is there. And so I
Yeah.
said I was a vegetarian. And I remember everyone there looked at me like I was Dulcivar or something. That Satan had walked into the into their place, and I
Yeah.
was treated like the oh God. And somebody eventually got me some. It had to be week old lettuce or something. Say, well, you'll probably like this. But it was the worst thing, and I said, if you wanted me to be a member of this
Oh,
church, you forget it. But this is how they treat people.
oh
It
my,
wasn't welcoming at all. The minute I said I was
that's
vegetarian, I might as well have said
yeah.
I was a devil here. Hello, I'm here.
Because you were, to
Yeah.
them, you were there. You were there to bring darkness into
Oh,
their life of gluttony. It's gluttony, people. We
yeah.
really just don't want to label it. It's gluttony. You're eating dead carcass.
That's it.
once once I got that in my brain, and see, here's the thing. What I tell people is the reason I can look at a huge spread right now, beautiful, wonderful, nice smelling Thanksgiving Day food, a whole feast laid out before me, and I can look at it and not eat one bite of it,
Right.
is because I've learned to detach the emotional side of eating, and I go to the intellectual side. So that emotional side will say, yes, oh, I remember how that turkey tastes. Oh,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
remember fun times we would have at Thanksgiving at my mom's place and at my parents' house. And all the family members were there, and the siblings, their spouses, and all this. Oh, and Christmas time. Oh, I remember at my grandmother's house, and you do that. We do this unconsciously, and that makes that food so important to us. And then I can separate that now, and the intellect part of me will say that food already once took me to a point where I could have lost my life, and it was a warning and not the end,
Right.
and it can do it again.
Yeah.
Pork is just, I mean, all the toxins in that, all the parasites in the meat, and people go to chicken thinking, oh yeah, it's the better it's the better meat. It's the poultry that is safe. No, it is not. It's like, as Chef Kitty calls it, a pig with wings.
That's right. That's
You
right.
might as well be eating pork. What they do to the chicken, they 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 shoot it up with so many hormones so that it's fatter, and that it's ready for market faster to meet the demand. And same with the cows. These cows, they're milking them 24/7. They're not
That's not
designed like
natural.
that.
It's not natural.
It's not
I mean,
natural. It's
being
not
over here in Thailand, I can tell what you're saying, Terry, is so correct because in my neighborhood here, all over Thailand, you'll see chickens that are going to be eventually, you know, taken to slaughter, but they look different because they don't
they're
have chemicals in
happy.
them.
They're happy. Yes.
It's a whole different
They're
thing. And I remember coming back to America and coming to Iowa a couple of years ago and seeing some chickens and how I said, God, these things are huge. Because I had
Yep.
forgotten that.
I'm big.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's all chemicals. Where over here, they don't have that. I mean, they do, and I have to say they do have KFC and all that here. So they are getting some of those chickens like that. But basically, the ones you see in the communities like here and in the villages and all, they don't have that at all. So Terry,
Yeah.
Terry, tell people what they should, because we can talk all day about, all of
I
this. But I want
know.
you to tell people what they should do if they're even considering being a raw, you know, starting eating raw. What they should do.
Yeah. First and foremost, they should educate themselves. Educate themselves. And I'm not saying just buy my books, but my books are available at terryliggins.com. That's TerryLiggins.com. I have various links there and they'll lead you to that. But yeah, educate yourself. Go, there's so much information on the internet. And the reason why you should educate yourself is because then you would know how to answer that question that you mentioned a little bit ago, Greg, that Where you getting your protein from? Well, the question that they really should be asking is where are you getting your amino acids from?
There you go.
Because protein is in everything. Protein is in the plants. So just think, where's the cow getting its protein from? Where's the gorilla getting its protein from? The elephant, the hippopotamus, all these animals do not eat meat. You hear me? They do not eat meat. They're the largest animals in the kingdom. They're strong. They get it from Mother Earth, and that's where we are designed to get it from. God designed us. We came from the earth, and we're to eat the plants and there's several passages throughout the Bible that tells you about it. In Genesis, Leviticus, Ezekiel, there are just areas that are just it's so brilliantly laid out for us. And then what do? We go and do it the cheap and easy way, fast food way. We go and eat the whole doggone cow
Right.
that has the protein plus everything else bad. Beef, everything. I mean, I can't even tell you. There, but there's just so much information out there, people. So that is the first place to start: is educate yourself. Then just prepare yourself. Get there mentally first. And I often say, you can't control what you're eating until you control what's eating you.
That's right.
So you have to get rid of all those demons inside that will tell you after 2 days of doing a water fast that, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I gotta have something to eat. I gotta have some chicken wings.
I'm getting a
And
headache an hour after not eating. I need some food right
right,
now. Yeah, I always hear that from women.
exactly. Yeah, like food is gonna hurt. It's gonna help your headache. No, you're just going through withdrawals. Let your body go through those withdrawals and get that gunk out of you. We have people who have never given up meat yet. People who have never done a detox. You're gonna have almost 30 years of gunk in you,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and some people have to have their colon taken out. There's so much gunk in there that has not been washed out. And so education is very, very key. Mindset is the second thing that can only happen. I say properly, it can only happen through education. Um, get around the right people. Number three, get a support group, because the minute you go raw, the minute you start doing something positive, it's the what do they call it? The crab in the barrel
Right.
uh,
They'll
syndrome. This
pull you
kind of
down. Not
mm-hmm,
careful. You
yeah.
get pulled down if you're not careful.
You're being too weird, and you're losing too much weight, or you're guys. When I went raw, oh yeah, that's the other thing. Not only did I get rid of all sarcoidosis symptoms, but at the time, let's see, I was 52 at the time, so it's been 11 years now. I have not gone back. I have not gone back to eating. Now I don't have to do 100% raw right now because I'm not in a healing mode.
Right.
But I do 20. I mean, I do 90% raw. That means the other 10% is cooked, but I still won't do meat, still won't do dairy. So when I say cooked, like stews, and I'll do like a veggie stir
Right.
fry, but the heat is still not going to be very high because that is where your food turns into carcinogenic.
That's it.
Uh, because of the
I do
heat.
a lot of steaming. I don't really eat cooked foods. I steam. And I'm working on
Mm,
going straight raw. But I steam
okay.
a lot of my vegetables.
Well, see where you are. You're at such an advantage. I cannot wait. And now, I'm going to get to Thailand. My
Come on
daughter's
over.
visit. Yeah, I am going to get there. Because right now, when I go out to restaurants, if I have my preference, I will eat Thai food. I will eat Indian food. I will
Right.
eat Ethiopian food, or I'll eat um, there's one other kind.
Moroccan
Um,
food.
Probably, I haven't tasted that, but there's a new African restaurant here in town that I must try. But yeah, anything along the lines of Mediterranean. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys make your food differently. Even when it's cooked, it's with the right oils and it's, the right temperature, or it's steamed, or it's just, it's in a wok for just a hot few moments. the right vegetables, the sprouted stuff, you have
It's
such an advantage where you are.
it's tropical food. I mean, it's a whole different world. I tell people that
Hmm.
all the time. And I have to
Yeah,
say too. I mean, there are grocery stores here. You want to get the pure junk. It's here. It is
yeah,
definitely here,
yeah,
but a lot of folks don't.
yeah. It's crazy. And so when I stopped eating the American way, I lost 30 pounds. So when I went raw, along with it getting rid of all the symptoms of sarcoidosis, I got rid of also fibroids. I
Yeah,
was dealing with fibroids and just going through menopause and stuff. And oh my gosh, fibroids went away. It's like there are women who are getting their whole um, reproductive systems cut out to get rid of
yeah.
fibroids. Don't do that. That they're doing that
And a
today.
lot of
Like,
black women in particular, because always you
yes,
see
black women,
it's
because they
awful.
can. What
Yeah,
the industry does is they find out, okay, what parts can you live without? Because remember when you and I were kids, it was tonsils. Oh, you don't
right.
need those to come out. What? And it was just because if you had a cold too many times or a sore throat or something, an ear infection, I can't remember what would cause them. But it was like, oh yeah, take those out and you get some ice cream.
Yeah,
And so they were, they
yeah,
were taking out tonsils left and right because you can live without them. Well, not so well. I mean, every part has a reason there. God put it there, no matter how tiny it is. But yet, people do get their appendix taken out. They do get their tonsils out. They get the reproductive systems taken out just to get rid of fibroids. Instead, if you go on a raw diet, you detox, you eat beets, you do things that will get rid of all of that, and you're fine. So
right.
that happened for me. 30 pounds just melted away over a 6 month period. I wasn't
And
even
there's a
going to the
funny story in your book too. I'm not going to say it. You don't have to say it today, but about you and your daughter's capri pants.
Oh,
We don't have to say it, but you have to get the book, listeners, to find out.
oh yes, yes. I love those. Love those pants. Yep.
So,
But
anything else
it's
you would recommend for someone out there like curious about a raw diet and they're like, oh, what else should I do?
yeah, yeah. Take baby steps. Take baby steps. If you're not sick and tired, as I was, of being sick and tired, take baby steps. Now, if you've been given some very serious diagnoses, then you probably don't have time to take baby steps.
Right,
You need
right.
something drastic, radical, but safe. And everything is safe. These are plants, people. You can't OD on them. Um, and just a couple quick stories. My mom had a stroke back in 2017, I believe, and this is a woman who had never been on meds before. She made it all to her 80s and had never been on meds. And of course, the first thing I want to do is put her on meds. Um, and it was meds that got her in the hospital. Her doctor, she had an
Yeah.
ear infection. They put her on antibiotics, and within 2 weeks, she had a stroke. You think the antibiotics caused the stroke? Yes, I believe it did. So I said no to all meds. I flew to Ohio, took care of her. I fed her nothing but everything from Chef Keaty's Living Superfood recipe book. He's got several out there. Living Superfood
Right.
without the S.com. So I fed her all his food. I gave her hemp seed oil twice a day. And within 5 days, her cholesterol, which they tried to say was part of the problem, it was only borderline. But her cholesterol, her bad numbers came down 50% in just 5 days.
Five
And I
days.
did
That's amazing. That's
5 days.
incredible.
That's all. And recently I have a cousin who's only 59 years old. He was here visiting with his wife, celebrating her birthday. Had lunch with them on a Saturday. Sunday morning, I got a call that he had a massive stroke, and for me to rush to the hospital. They were on their way packing to go back to Ohio when he had this massive stroke. And here they are in a town where they only knew me and one other cousin of ours. And I started giving as soon as I could, as soon as he was out of consciousness or unconsciousness and was they were trying to give him, guess what his first meal was they were trying to give him?
Wow.
Pancakes and eggs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like he just had a stroke, people. What do you want him to put syrup on those pancakes now? All sugar. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I said no to all that. his wife was willing, and so she threw the food in the